Hello and welcome back everyone to Mario Kart Double Dash and Rocket Rabbit Commentaries, and in this episode we'll be continuing on to the Fire Flower Cup, as it's a Fire Flower on the menu, but it's just called the Flower Cup. Kind of weird. As we go into Mario Circuit, which is again relatively basic. I honestly think that Mario Circuit and Luigi Circuit should have been paired together on the Mushroom Cup, because I actually think that Peach Beach is more complicated than Mario Circuit is. Anyway, as I was attempting to explain before the part ended last time, the reason why heavy characters are so terrible in Double Dash is because they tend to have extremely poor acceleration on all of their karts. And the problem with having extremely poor acceleration on your kart is the fact that it's really difficult for you to maintain top speed going through these turns. I managed to do it for a majority of this cup, but once we get to the final race course, you'll see what happens when I have to actually interact with my opponents.
Yeah, 150cc tends to have that effect on players.
Yeah.
Forced interactions.
That banana should have stopped the red shell. I saw it.
Chain chomp.
Yes. Mario Circuit is loaded with a bunch of Super Mario 64 references. Specifically, well, technically, I think it's supposed to be Mario 3 references, to be perfectly honest. You got the large mushrooms, you got the Monty moles. Well, actually, no, these aren't Monty moles. These are just Goombas, so it is 64 that they're pulling from. Eventually, I will know what I want to say, Mr. Cloud. Ow!
Well, you remembered to remind our audience of the importance of the class system. The heavy, light, or medium classes, that is.
Yeah. So what kind of experience do you have with Mario Kart Double Dash, Mr. Cloud?
Well, I spent some hours on it. A lot of these music tracks do sound really familiar. And the more I hear them, the more well, as it turns out, I had missed them.
Alright, so what happened there is that we used the Yoshi special, which stores the Yoshi egg at an opponent and then spawns 3 mostly random items in front of them. They can be anything that can be on the ground, including a bomb, a power star, mushroom, or banana. I think you might be able to get fake item boxes. I'm not entirely sure, but you usually end up just giving your opponent either triple banana or triple mushroom. So either they get hit really hard or they get barely hit at all. Gambling with Yoshi eggs, it's a thing. We're moving on to Daisy Cruiser, and I like this course, but I'm not good at it. I still don't know if the shortcut towards the end of the map is actually faster or not. I think it can be faster for light character, if you're running double light characters, but for double heavy characters, I'm relatively convinced it's not actually faster. Daisy Cruiser's big thing for a majority of the course is that it has a bunch of verticality in it, and the verticality that it has makes it a bit more interesting of a track to go through. Although it doesn't really affect the course as much as you think. It affects defense on the course quite a bit, though, especially when it comes to the stairway segments and when it comes to how red and green shells actually behave when it comes to slopes. You can't see it there, but I promise you that green shell is actually bouncing when we throw it backwards because we are on the stairs.
And round the waiting pool.
So, when you were playing Double Dash, do you recall what your favorite team composition was?
Not my favorite team composition. I just remembered appreciating how, like, there are so many combinations. Because of the matrix system that you can assign to the top, bottom, or any slot your vehicle and racer number 1 and racer number 2. Well, there is a finite number of combinations, but there's more than enough to keep you entertained with your friends.
Usually. The thing is, because of the way that the class system actually works, there is actually the best composition for each course. And I'm relatively convinced that Double Light is actually the best composition for almost every course in the game, with the exception of, I think, one course that's in the Special Cup. But it's like the only course that has that exclusion. Well, that and Baby Park, but I don't really count Baby Park because Baby Park is a NASCAR course before it's a Mario Kart course.
It's a NASCAR course with Mario polish.
Yeah. Like seriously, Baby Park's also the only course in the game that has one of 2 courses in the game that have changed lap conditions. So, yeah, ouch. Alright, PD Piranha Special is the fact that he gets I think I explained this in the last part, actually, but oh well. PD Piranha Special is that he gets access to half of everyone else's specials randomly. And this does actually take into effect, it does actually count what position that you're in for this. So you can't, use Peach and Daisy's heart power in first place. Not that you'd want to. Peach and Daisy's heart power is pretty fucking terrible. But here we are going into Waluigi Stadium, a track that I dislike, but is not technically bad. I'm just very bad at it. All the shit that Waluigi Stadium throws at you, the mud, the floating fireballs, the 2D piranha plants, everything that it throws at you, and the fact that it's such a smaller course than most of the other tracks, especially in this cup, means that it has a bunch of problems when it comes to being consistent with the course. Like, if you actually stay in first place for the entire course, you don't really see that problem. But once you start having to interact with your opponents, it becomes very clear that the time cycling on these events is not as predictable as you think it would be.
Oh, events like, yeah, the hoops of flames and the rotating, what are they called? Popos?
Potaboos. Mind you, Potaboos aren't in this level; they're in another level. But those are floating fire bars are their own classification enemy.
I just find it has been a little while since we've done a Mario game.
We weren't even in first place. Damn it!
This is the land where everything has a face. The hills have eyes, and the flames can't wait to meet you.
Trying to think. Fireballers and Koopa shells do not technically have faces. So there. Damn it, he hit us. Meaning that we lost one of our mushrooms. Triple mushrooms is not actually a special power. I honestly think it should have been Toad's special power, but it's not. Red shell him, and then red shell the dude in front of him.
I was going to make a comment that in Mario Kart 64, when you got triple shells, those shells were objects that could be used either as defense or as a weapon against your opponents. But in this game, instead of putting them next to the cart,
I just don't know how to use green shells defensively.
You have to throw them on time.
Behind you.
Because honestly, it was kind of cheap that you basically got a passive shield around you that will just randomly intercept an enemy item.
Okay, so we got hit with 2 blue shells in this game, and neither of them should have hit us. The first one hit us when we weren't even in first place, and the second one hit us when it was thrown when we weren't in first place. So which is it, game? Oh well. We still won the cup, just not the race.
Yeah. And here's the exact same ceremony sequence again.
I thought I actually edited these out, but I did not. My bad.
Why? I mean, would you stop playing this wonderful music? The flowers are even happy to see you. Winner!
Yep. Because we did not actually score all 40 points, the time that I took here was not eligible for records, because the way that the record system works is it counts points and then it counts time. Doing 150cc again. We've already had Baby Luigi. And we already had Toad, but this is the second best combination in the game, so I decided to show it off for Star Cup. I dislike the Star Cup specifically because of Sherbet Land. Sherbet Land is a much better course when it gets ported over to Mario Kart 8 because of the underground path that it gets access to. In this game, it is not that good because you have to deal with ice physics and enemies on ice physics and obstacles on ice physics, and everything is trying to hurt you and throw you off the map. It's not fair. But when you're good at Sherbet Land, it actually is still a very exhilarating race to play through. To be perfectly honest, playing at 150cc does feel very exhilarating for me. Like, I still prefer to go for 100cc, especially for warm-up and casual play. But 150cc doesn't feel impossible for my skill level. But I do recall that it did feel impossible earlier on when I was still having trouble with Power Slide, because Mario Kart Double Dash was actually my second Mario Kart game. I hadn't played a Mario Kart 64, but I did play Super Mario Kart. But I don't remember if Super Mario Kart actually has the Power Slide. I think it does, but I don't remember it.
No, there's no power slide or drift in Mario Kart 64. Just a brake. It lets you go around corners.
There's a brake slide in... no, there's totally a power slide in 64. You see it in speedruns all the time.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've seen that game.
There's also a brake slide boost, but I'm pretty sure... I'm not entirely sure how the brake slide boost works in comparison to the one in CTR. And I'm not even entirely sure if the brake slide boost is in Double Dash. I think that might have been implemented for Mario Kart 8. Ouch. You'll notice that I actually spend a lot of time throwing green shells behind me instead of in front of me. If you throw the green shell in front of you, it's faster, but throwing it behind you makes way more sense when you're in first place. So there.
Woohoo! Winner!
143, not bad. No, rather, 1 minute and 43 seconds, which is 103 seconds? Yeah, 103 seconds. A Mushroom City, it's a place with 90-degree turns for you to crash into the Caterpillar bus. Because that's like the biggest obstacle in this map. Well, that and the bomb car. In order to do the starting line boost, you have to actually time your acceleration to exactly when it presses start. In theory, you could, unlike Mario Kart 8, you could actually get an acceleration boost using a rhythmic tapping of your accelerator. But I am not entirely sure how powerful a boost you get from that at its maximum efficiency. Mostly because I can't figure out what the maximum efficiency for it is. If you're holding the accelerator at the starting line before it says start, then you usually end up doing a burnout, which costs you a good 3 seconds of the race. So don't do that. So many explosive things to attempt to avoid a 150cc.
Lap 2.
And boost. A power slide boost is extremely important when it comes to getting good times and winning the later tournaments. Because without that, your opponents are most certainly doing it at least somewhat, even if you can't see them doing it. So it's they're going to have better lap times than you.
Watch out for those recoveries.
Now, do you have a specific favorite race course when it comes to Double Dash, Mr. Cloud?
I do like the easier courses as much as the next guy, just so I could stay in motion. I find challenging courses frustrating, so I tend to not play those as often.
Nah, so you absolutely dislike the Rainbow Road variant that's here, don't you?
Man, how could you not get behind Rainbow Road? How is it that we're hitting that car, but we did not take damage?
The mushroom car has a special property where if you collide into it on purpose, it doesn't actually spin you out and instead pops a mushroom onto the field. Usually that mushroom is extremely difficult for you to actually to cash in on because of where it spawns, but it is possible. Alright, and in the next part we'll continue on with the Star Cup, as we are currently in the lead. Woohoo! I will also need to describe what the Koopa Troopa's special is, as we've already seen it, but I have not described it yet. Be safe, everybody.